Picture a town so extremely quiet. Gardens abloom with yellow and violet. Buildings and shop fronts smarter than most. A short stroll west from a rocky coast. It's lovely in Bumbles. People wave to each other. Everyone's business is known by another. The only crime is considered to be winning most pretty town 2 times, not 3. How do the townfolk deal with that shame? They turn to one person to lay all their blame. They turn to the mess at the end of the street. They turn to the house of Grumpy Pete. His has no flowers, but boxes of weeds. Hammered into the grass, wooden signs read, "Keep off! Get out! Postman, ignore this address. I have one distant sister and I couldn't care less." Pete was born and raised at rickety number 5 and gets grumpier every year he's alive. Pete knows everyone and they know he, so he's extra mean when he wants to be. But Pete has a plot, he's been plotting for years, to forever make Bumbles disappear. To be so self-sufficient and self-contained that he never leaves home, not ever again. Cinema, games room for ping pong and pool, a garden allotment to grow all his food. For milk and butter and delicious ice cream, he'll buy a cow and call her Josephine. Yoga room, sauna, top-of-the-range gym, driving range with cupboard to keep the golf clubs in, a room just for slippers because he'll never need shoes, a shed for his tools, nails, screws and glues. At last, he has enough money together to close the door and live alone forever. For the last time, Pete walks down his road. "I'm finished with Bumbles," he spitefully crows. He grabs one last loaf from the baker's shelf, tells the chemist, "From now on, I'll be healing myself." Laughs when the butcher asks when he'll be in, barks, "Not interested," at Anne from the local gym. To a neighbour cleaning his car on the green, he calls, "I hope birds poo on that horrible windscreen." But close to home, he spies a shape. On his lawn, of all places, by the "Keep off" tape. Yuck! Is that a person? Pete stares, distressed. "Clear out," he sneers. "I never have guests." "I'm John." A boy hops up in wonder. Pete glares back, his face like thunder. "I'm your great-great-grandnephew," explains the lad. "I've come to stay. Are you glad?" Pete learns John found orphanage mail, which told of a relative, old, mean and male, who lives in a wonky house close to the sea. "I suppose," grumbled Pete. "That sounds like me." He studies John, utterly appalled. "I can't have children. I hate them all." John smiles bravely until Pete, in defeat, points to the corner and bellows, "Sleep! But just one night. I've got plans, you see. I warn you now, I only like me." Next day, Pete wakes to a... "Fantastic," he cheers. "They're picking John up." He hobbles downstairs at quite some pace, but standing there is a girl with a case. "I'm Kate," squealed Kate. "From the orphanage too. John said I should live with you." "What?" yells Pete, his voice such a roar. "I didn't want him. I don't want more." He stomps away towards the phone. "I'm calling the orphanage to take you home. Have breakfast, of course, but then off you shoo. I don't have the space for either of you." But when Pete returns, his mouth opens wide. There are no longer 2, but 3 kids inside. "Get out! That's enough! I don't like guests! Didn't you see my sign? All children are pests." "This is Martin," says John. "He's got nowhere to go."
"Can I stay for a bit? I cook good breakfasts, you know."
Pete gawps at his house, now filling with noise and the clothes and belongings of 1 girl, 2 boys. "I'm off to get changed. Then we'll straighten this out. You can't stay here. I've got plans for this house." Pete stomps away, a whopping problem to fix. But when he returns, he's nearly sick. For 26 children now stand around, And 26 children make quite a crowd. And 26 children make a lot of noise. That's 13 girls and 13 boys. Pete gasps, surveying the child-filled scene, sees Martin cooking up all his baked beans.
Look how much food you're already eating! Kids cost money, time, extra heating.
Don't kick us out, Kate quickly pleads.
We could be of help. Tell us what you need.
Pete thinks about jobs. He has such a long list. Would it help if these ghastly kids could assist? There's much work needed for his plan to succeed, and they would be quicker, far quicker than he, and stronger at lifting, could squeeze in small spaces. He frowns at the line of eager kid faces.
Fine. You can stay and help fix up my home, but remember that I like living alone. When it's done, promise me you'll go with no strife. You can ruin my month, but not my life.
Well, the kids prove more helpful than expected. Work is faster than Pete projected. In exchange, he keeps his side of the deal of a place to sleep and some healthy meals. But a funny thing soon begins to befall. Unexpectedly, Pete stops hating them all. He quite likes their noisy mealtime chatter, their film nights, Martin's
breakfast platters.
1 month goes by. Pete's house is complete. For the last time, he sits with 26 to eat. Despite Martin cooking
a feast
for their tums, Pete is feeling unavoidably glum. The children, all packed, line up by the door. Is Pete feeling sad? He isn't quite sure. His perfect house filled with perfect things isn't bringing the joy he thought it would bring. He helps the children, then bids them goodbye. But as he does, he starts to cry.
What am I thinking?
He yells at the bus.
You can't leave now. There's no me without us.
Now children play where there were once weeds. Tied to the gate, a wooden sign reads, "Hello, come in if you're looking for Pete's Incredible Children's Home, where we couldn't care more." So what do the town folk think about Pete? About him and his house at the end of the street? The goal of Pretty Town has been replaced with making sure Pete and the kids are embraced. And instead of perfect gardens, flowers, and gnomes, they all learned the importance of creating a home.